Welcome, Boomer Guitar Sessions. This is Rod. Today we're going to talk about the art of funk guitar, and it is episode 82. Episode 82. Can you believe it's already up to episode 82? And I, thus far, have not talked about funk guitar, which is kind of odd because around these parts where I live, that is somewhat, if I'm known for anything, I'm known for kind of some of that. Okay, I had a funk band for 15 years. And I did it when nobody else was doing it. Played bass, I played guitar. When I played guitar, when I played bass, I taught the guitar players because it is a lost art form. Most people do not know how to play funk. Everybody loves funk. That is my belief, because we've in my performances and in my experiences, it's celebratory music, and it's like people who love to celebrate around music love funk. It's a dance music, it's a good time music, it's to raise the vibe music. So as a guitar thing, as a guitar discipline, as a guitar aesthetic, it's different than rock guitar, it's different than jazz guitar. All right, so we're going to talk about that today. Some of the things that funk isn't. Funk isn't a lead guitar discipline. A funk guitar is a rhythm guitar discipline. Funk guitar is more akin to the drummer than he is the lead guitar player. Which is to say, is there lead guitar in funk? Yes, there is, but the lead guitar players were influenced by rock players, by jazz players. Like lately, I hear some funk guitar players influenced by, like if they're playing lead, even some metal players. Like when I listen to Slave, some of their solos remind me of Black Sabbath. Absolutely pocket rhythm guitar. Absolutely pocket rhythm guitar. Funky rhythm guitar. But then when he goes off, it's not a blues guitar player. It's Jimi Hendrix. It's Eddie Hazel. It's Tony Iommi. Okay, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So it is a rhythm guitar form. So it's like what funk rhythm guitar we want to strive for is to supply the groove. What the drummer does in a band is he lays down the groove that everyone else is building their song off of. If the drummer can't be in the pocket and throwing his fills in a way that doesn't disturb the groove, that is what it means to be funky. It's different than lots and lots of other styles. It's different than church. And I love church guitar players. I love church drummers. I love church everything. But in church, a lot of times what you have is like the gospel chops people. And then the gospel chops people, it's kind of like a competitive thing. Okay, in a funk band, it's not competition. We're all striving to be a part of the groove, to lay down a good solid pocket. We're listening to each other. We're trying to blend with each other. We're not competing against each other. Those are other disciplines. Okay? Those are other disciplines. So funk is about the center thing about funk, and the funk discipline, the funk aesthetic is that rhythm is the center. Rhythm is the center. So with that said, it takes a couple skills, the contrasting skills, to get good at this style. First off, you got to learn the history, you got to listen to guys that play it. And it's like if you're one of those players that thinks that everything good has happened in the last 10 years, then you're going to stink. Okay? Because what you need to do is you need to listen to your favorite players. Okay? You got to have some history about this, because it's like, it's kind of like rock and roll. You got to know some Chuck Berry to play some rock and roll. You got to know Chuck Berry. Even though Chuck Berry wasn't producing any hits in my lifetime, it does not matter. All right? So in funk, the Chuck Berry of funk is Jimmy Nolan in James Brown's band, and Catfish Collins later in the James Brown band, and then the House Guests, and then some of the funkadelic things, and Gary Scheider. All right? Some of the guys that we name, Ray Parker Jr., we know him as Ghostbusters, but he's a great funky guitar player. Okay, Tony Maiden for whatever reason, is a complete, like, nobody knows his name. They should, the people should know his name, because he absolutely did really great things with funk music and funk guitar. He was in a band called Riffs with Shaka Khan, and they did wonderful stuff. He took the funk guitar to a new place, because funk guitar players, what they did, a lot of them were jazz guitar players that brought the jazz discipline into laying down a groove and adapting to their musical situation and trying to create a part that was suitable for the groove that was happening. Kool and the Gang. I'm thinking great guitar player from Kool and the Gang. I'm thinking Tony Maiden has to have some jazz things going on. I know Nile Rodgers does. Okay, so lots of these guys had somewhat of a jazz background. Some of them had a blues background. Some of them had a church background. All right, some of them, it's a mixture of all of those. Okay, so the importance of being able to improvise in order to create the groove, that was a thing. So you need to be able to improvise in order to play funk. You can't, it's not give me the tablature kind of music. And you, as I said, you want to make your guitar a funky rhythm guitar. So funky rhythm guitar, by me playing that, you can feel where the drums are, where you can feel where the groove is. Okay, so to me, this is like really great for musicianship. I'm really grateful for having discovered this in my life, because it adds a sauce that I have to my playing that I value. Okay, having that ability to create something that is completely, we try to think in the pocket. It's something that all the rhythms are placed in the right spot, that you're going like that. That's funk rhythm guitar. Okay. Now, you need to be able to improvise. You need to be able to be creative. The other thing you got to be able to do, and you need to self-edit. Okay. You need to take things out if they're not suiting the groove. All right. That's what improvisation will help you do. Okay. Those are the improvisational skills. Now, once you get a groove, there's going to be times where you're going to, like Jimmy Nolan and actually that's Catfish Collins, but Jimmy Nolan did a lot of the early James Brown stuff and a lot of the James Brown. He's been James Brown for a lot of years. Catfish played on Sex Machine, as did Bootsy. So with that said, that guitar part is. You play that for 15 minutes. Precision. To be able to play the same groove over and over and over and over again with same articulation without variation. That is another funk discipline. Maceo Parker asked, I think it was Jimmy Nolan when he auditioned for the band. Maceo Parker was the musical director. He goes, can you play a 9-chord? And Jimmy Nolan says, yeah, I can play 9 chords. Okay. And he goes, can you play this rhythm? Whatever rhythm it was. Okay. He goes, yeah, I can play that rhythm. And he goes, can you play this rhythm for 15 minutes? Same articulation. Same thing for the next 15 minutes, because James Brown's going to be doing stuff over top of that. And this is absolutely true in Funkadelic, in Parliament Funkadelic. Take It to the Stage. And that's essential listening. All the Funkadelic stuff, is like, even though some of it is kind of Zappa-ish, it is absolutely explored the borders of what funk can be. It does not just have to be in the James Brown school. These were guys that took James Brown and Frank Zappa, Jimi Hendrix threw it into a blender and more stuff. All right. So the funk principle is groove over flash. Okay. So whereas jazz, we're like trying to play over changes, and we're trying to blow. That's the aesthetic in jazz. Funk the funk aesthetic is let's play together. Let's create a groove. Let's create that movement that makes the crowd of people and the people of the room, the sweaty room that you're playing in, popping and like celebratory and good energy. It's kind of like the best of church is like when you go to church, you go there to feel better. You don't go there to feel worse. And that's what a good funky concert, funky experience is like. Okay? And the way that happens is we're all in the same pocket, and the dancers can get into it, and they're used to they got that rhythm. They can count on that rhythm, count on that groove, and they can dance to it, and they can have fun all night long. All right? So it's important not to play too much. It's important not to put stuff in the wrong places. It's not supposed to be, by design, funk is not supposed to be a progressive kind of groove thing. Why are no funk tunes written in 5/4? Because nobody can dance in 5/4. It is a dance music, as most music is. Rock and roll, country, honky tonks. It's all dance swing music. The original rhythm and blues. Most of the R&B in the 60s and 70s. It's all dance music. But if you put something weird in it and weird syncopations, it's like Tower of Power used to do it. But when people go to see Tower of Power, they're sitting down. It's kind of like chamber music, and I love Tower of Power, but it's a different kind of thing. All right. So groove over flash. Okay. Yes, you'll have a room for lead guitar players doing their thing, but if you can't play pocket, if you can't interpret the funk, if you don't have any history in your playing, and you don't bring that drummer like quality, you're not going to last, and it's not going to be a good time for anybody. Okay, so how do you get better at funk guitar? These are some of my steps that I've come up with. And I wrote a book about this. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Make It Funky. Make It Funky bass, Make It Funky guitar. This guitar is on the cover of Make It Funky. Santarella Publications. Check it out. First thing is you emulate the masters. You've got to figure out who the masters are. The masters are not going to be people within your generation necessarily. There are some people that do it, but listen to who they listen to, who they listen to, who they listen to. Okay. Get some history in you. So the James Brown bands. Okay, Jimmy Nolan and all the people, all the two guitar setups that he was a part of. We have Steve Cropper and Stax. These are guys that made rhythm guitar a cool thing. Rhythm guitar is a cool thing in Steve Cropper's hands. He never played a solo in his life, to my knowledge, and he didn't care to. It wasn't his thing. And he's a legend, and we're talking about it. So the Motown's Funk Brothers, these were the studio musicians. They had 3 guitar players. They played on those tracks at various times. Sometimes it was 2, going back and forth. Other times it was 3, but mostly it was 3. Tony Maiden, as I said, Tony Maiden was with Rufus. That was his best, what I know him from. Check out the Michael Jackson albums. Okay, the various different guitar players with Michael Jackson, Paul Jackson Jr. Okay, Nile Rodgers, record producer, chic. He played on lots of the 70s kind of funky disco kind of songs like "We Are Family," "I'm Coming Out." Some of my favorite funky guitars on other people's records. "Let's Dance," that was him on "Let's Dance." Nile Rodgers, producer, absolutely wonderful rhythm guitar player, absolutely great insight on how to play the guitar in his way. And he's somebody you should check out, both the way he plays and what his musical beliefs are. And he's an icon we should be revering. All right. So number 2 is embrace rhythm as the center. When I practice, here is my this is what the ground rhythm is to me. Everything I'm doing is in the key of E, by the way, because E is the funky key. You should be able to play in all keys. All right. So embrace rhythm as the center. Practice with a drum machine. Practice with a funky drum machine. Practice with loops of original recordings of guys in the 60s and 70s and their funky guitar tracks. A lot of people that are like big in this field now, you know their sounds, but where they got their sounds were from the guys from yesteryear. Okay, drum machines or loops, classic tracks. Oh, work on developing your own internal clock. Now to be able to go. That's what I call the internal clock. Okay, now funk also revolves around 2 really important rhythms. Okay, and we're going to talk about those. The first rhythm is called the ground rhythm. When I say the ground rhythm, I'm listening to this. That is the rhythm that I'm moving my body to. And you want to move your body to when you're doing this. If you don't move your body, you're not going to sound right. It's called rhythmics. Rhythmics is the study of body movement and musical style, and how your body movement improves your rhythm, improves your performance, improves everything, improves your expression. There is a study of that. There's entire schools based on rhythmics. The word is over 100 years old. It's not a band. It is a band, but okay. So body movement. All right. Then the next is, once you get the body movement down, it's that 16th note. Funk is about the 16th note and the variations of it. We can one E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a... This is what Prince called the grease. And he would just do stuff over top of that. All right. All right. So now, with that said, that's the 16th note. Now, the other thing about 16th note that we would do is that we keep our arm in constant motion, because that's what I call the funky guitar rudiment. The one funky guitar rudiment is keeping your arm in constant motion. We don't start and stop when we're in that groove. See, you notice my body's moving. The start and stop would feel like this. It feels anemic. We're not doing that. It's bad rhythm. Funk is about good rhythm. Okay, so now the funk vocabulary. So we have our chords. We have our chords. We have our double stop. So if I played an E9, that's called a double stop. Double stops are two note things. Okay, we have the single note line. percussion sounds. Again, bringing the guitar back to the drums. Some of those, learn some of those cool, like, other voicings. Like, this is the 9th chord. Steal that. Steal that. Give me credit. Learn it. Tell 50 of your closest friends and then tag me in it. This is the Sly and the Family Stone chord, Freddie Stone. Okay, the last thing that we want to do is we want to play with people. We want to play with live in flesh people that do this stuff for real. Okay, so this is another, I don't know if it's a dying art form or not. Worldwide, it's not. Everyone says certain things about music and how certain scenes are dying, but you go online and you see people absolutely killing it together in the way they play together. Even though we have lots of people who are just playing to drum machines in GarageBand or whatever. So play with people. Okay, funk is a democracy. Okay, we're all working together to make this a better place. Okay, we all gotta, it's some give and we take and we give and we take. It's not all take, it's not all give. All right. So you're adapting your musical thing to what is going on around you. If you have a bass player that is playing something really, really super fancy, like Larry Graham would, your job is not to try to keep up with his fanciness. Your job is to be more drum-like. All right. If the bass player is just laying it down real solid and real stoic, which is great too, it's another great groove. Maybe it calls for us to do something really syncopated and maybe it calls for that. Okay, you can be a little more fancy. You can be a little more fancy, as long as it's in the pocket, as long as it's in some sort of pocket. You want to learn in dominant chords, and learn how to play funk and dominant things and minor things like minor 11s, minor 13s. They're common chords that are in funk. And lastly, you kind of you even have funky things in major keys too. Okay, so it's in all kinds of major, minor, and dominant chord progressions. You want to learn the songs. You want to play with people. You want to learn to improvise. Take on any improvising lessons that you can, but you're adapting. You're adapting to your musical situation. And you adopt these principles, you unlock a deeper understanding of the music, and there's a stronger connection being made there. So anyway, my introduction to funk guitar, this is a long time coming. I don't know why it took me so long to get this to, because this is a love of mine. When I say this is a style that most people don't know about, most people don't fully appreciate because they don't know what's going on. But it is subtle, it is filled with nuance, and without the rhythm guitar player, the butts wouldn't be jiggling, and it wouldn't be as much of a party. All right, I'm Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions, episode 82. Be funky. Tell your friends, I appreciate you, I believe in you. Tell me what you got out of this. I'd appreciate that too. I need some feedback. So, see you then. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember, you can do this.